official detective magazine assigned me to research and write this story, which unfortunately had a particularly unpleasant and tragic ending for the victim. According to the record, the first report of the tragedy was turned in by a police officer who was patrolling the deserted downtown business district of Los Angeles, California, at 5:30 a.m., the last hour of the graveyard shift.
Car 7, Ellsworth. I'm at 12th and Main, have burning car here. Appears to be a body in the front seat, requesting registration information on California license CEX 5148.
The heat of the smoldering automobile proved to be so intense that it was some time before it was possible to touch the smoking death trap. Detectives McClellan and Franklin maintained their macabre vigil, along with the curious who had been attracted to the deserted business area by the smoke and fire.
Say, you work in the neighborhood?
That's right. I'm the janitor in that building over there. Name's Jim Ballinger.
All these buildings have night janitors.
That's right. At least most of them do. Some of them have watchmen. Yeah, I guess all of these buildings get cleaned up at night.
Anybody work in the cafe?
Yeah, it's Mike Duran's place.
Who works there at night?
Mike Duran. Yeah, he stays open pretty late. Sometimes he doesn't finish up till about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning.
These fellows all work around here.
Oh, sure. They're janitors, too.
Thanks.
Not at all, officer. Don't mention it. Don't break down the door. I'm coming. I'm coming. What's the trouble?
You mean you don't know a man just burned to death in the car down the alley here?
No, I didn't hear a thing.
No commotion, no reflection of the flames?
No. Who was it?
We think it's a man named Paul Bright.
Some drunk?
Don't know yet. I still can't understand how you didn't hear all that noise. Sirens, fire engines?
Well, I was cleaning up and I got tired, so I sat down in a booth to catch a nap. When I get tired, nothing wakes me up.
You're positive you didn't hear any screams or explosions in the early morning hours?
Yeah, not a thing. Is there anything else you want?
No, no thanks.
Can you tell me where your brother was supposed to be last night?
He told me he was going to drive down to Long Beach to meet some of his old buddies. Why would he come here?
Did any of his friends that you know of live in the metropolitan area here?
Not that I know of. I'm sure he doesn't know anybody in downtown Los Angeles.
Excuse us a moment. What's it look like to you?
Well, Ellsworth didn't see the flames till they came down the alley. The car must have been burning for quite some time before then. By then it was too late.
Could it have been a short circuit, a cigarette, too much liquor?
All he had to do was open the car door and fall out. Looked like he was sleeping.
He might have known he had too much to drink and thought he was being cautious.
I don't think that's what happened. I think he was put to the torch.
What makes you so sure?
But when Ellsworth got here, there was a strong odor of gasoline seeping from the interior of the car. More important, there's a jack handle lying in the front seat of the car next to the victim.
Notify the coroner immediately. We'll have to take you down to headquarters for identification.
Maybe it's not my brother. Maybe it's somebody else.
Maybe it is. We'll find out.
Fine thing getting me up at this time in the morning to do an autopsy.
I'm sorry, Doc, but all the circumstances are suspicious.
Yeah, aren't they? Well, the man suffered numerous facial injuries and skull fracture. Indications are he was savagely beaten with a blunt instrument. It'll be some time before I can have a detailed report, but you're on solid ground if you're investigating this as a homicide.
With a fire like that, it's going to be pretty difficult to secure any worthwhile evidence.
His wristwatch stopped at 3:15. I'm having that sent to your office.
Thanks very much, Doc.
Don't mention it. Oh, and don't mind if I omit the good morning.
I don't mind.
The heat didn't mess up the spring action of the watch. We can accept 3:15 as the approximate time of death. That could narrow things down a bit.
Yeah, well, let's see if we can find out where our victim might have settled down early in the evening. That's our best bet for now. We'll have to check the whole downtown area.
Yeah.
Captain Patterson, head of homicide, recalled every available officer from leave and ordered a complete canvassing of the bars, taverns, restaurants, and drive-ins in the vicinity. Net result, 0. The early evening edition of the Los Angeles papers carried a headline story complete with all the gruesome details of the crime. Early next morning, Tommy Burns, a local cab driver, bounced into the detective's office.
Hi. Hi there. Hi, McClellan.
Hello, Burns. Whatever you're going to ask me, the answer is no.
I've got a little twist for you, McClellan. I've come up here to do you a favor, not ask one. In fact, I've got a big twist for you. A big brunette twist.
Come on, Tommy, what's on your mind?
Well, it's about this article here on the torch killing. Last night, I was cruising about half a block from the parking lot between 11th and 12th on Main.
What happened?
Now, just a minute. Well, as I swung around the corner on 12th, there was this big gal running down the sidewalk. She hesitated for a minute like she was going to hail me, then she ducked into a doorway. Well, I could tell this was a pretty attractive gal.
Can you describe her?
Oh, you know, big gal, wearing a short fur jacket. Well, I figured it was pretty funny for her to be all alone so late. It was after 3 o'clock. So with my typical imagination, I wrote the plot. Rambunctious boyfriend. She protests. No, no, no. He insists. Yes, yes, yes. And out she runs into the cold night.
Never mind the fiction. How does the story end?
Well, by the time I reached the corner and turned around, she disappeared.
You sure about the time?
Positive, about 3:30.
That makes it close. Do you remember anything else factual?
Not much. I'd say she was about 30. I hope I'm not sending you guys in a wild goose chase. The thing might not be connected at all.
We'll check into it anyway, Tommy. We're not overlooking anything on this one. There's so little to go on.
Well, it wouldn't be a mystery if it was any other way.
I know you called this afternoon, Mr. Bright. We got here as soon as we could. We've been tied up all day.
Officer, I want the truth. Was my brother murdered?
Why do you ask that?
Well, several of the people up near the car said they smelled gasoline, and the car was so badly burned. What could have made it burn like that?
If your brother was murdered, Mr. Bright, would you have any idea who could have done it?
If I had, I just wouldn't be sitting here.
I'll have to tell you sooner or later. Your brother was beaten to death before the car was set afire.
But who could have done such a thing? Paul didn't have an enemy in the world. He was always laughing and clowning.
Did he have a girl?
Yeah, several. You know, he sort of played the field.
Do you know whether he ever went with a tall brunette?
Not that I know of. Why'd he ask?
We have a witness that places a tall brunette near the scene of the crime at the approximate time of Paul's death.
She may have taken him there and had somebody waiting for him.
What do you mean?
Well, it's an old story. Fellow tries to do a little friendly spending to brighten the place up a little, and somebody sees him, decides to take him for a ride. Usually they use a woman as a lure.
I think you're on the wrong trail this time. Paul had less than $20 on him.
Men have been killed for a lot less.
Pardon me, officer. They told me I'd find you down here. I think I ought to tell you something happened day before yesterday. I guess in the excitement of running over to the fire, I forgot about it. Well, anyway, about 3 o'clock in the morning, I was working up on the second floor, and I heard this pounding down at the rear door of the building. I came downstairs, and there was this dame with her face pressed up against the rear door. Well, first I was going to let her in, and I thought, no, maybe she's in some kind of trouble, and I shouldn't ought to get mixed up in it. So I shook my head, and she turned and ran away.
That's unusual enough to make a man remember it vividly. How come you forgot, Ballinger?
Well, I know it sounds peculiar, but I just forgot, that's all.
Well, thanks very much. If we locate this woman, I may have to call on you to identify her. Think you'll be able to?
Well, I'm not sure. One thing I know, she was tall. That I know.
Thanks. We'll call you if we need you.
Right.
Pretty wild yarn, wouldn't you say?
Why would he want to invent a story like that?
Well, it substantiates Tommy Burns' story of seeing a tall woman a half a block from the building.
Yeah, now all we have to do is find out who she is, where she is, and what she was doing roaming around at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's all. Wish I'd have taken my father's advice and stayed accounting.
With the help of a cab driver, Tommy Burns, a composite hypothetical portrait of the missing brunette was prepared. And that afternoon, all the local papers carried the picture. Before nightfall, the detectives received a call, and they hastened to answer it.
I'm Officer McClellan. Which one of you is Farrell?
You guys don't waste much time, do you?
What do you know about the brunette?
Well, I got back late this afternoon from a trip to San Diego and picked up the paper and read that piece about that mysterious brunette you guys are looking for. Well, night before last, the woman bearing that description flagged me down about 3:30, maybe a little later. I gave her a ride down the Coliseum area.
Where did you pick her up?
Between 16th and 17th on Main Street.
Where'd you let her out?
Over on South Main, near the Coliseum. Want me to take you down there?
You think you'd know the house?
I'm pretty sure I could point it out.
Did you notice anything peculiar about this gal when you picked her up?
Yeah, she kept on talking about a party she'd been to where the boys were too fast for little Florence. So I assumed that was her first name, Florence.
Can you leave your cab here for a while?
Oh, sure. One of the fellows will take it up the street.
Good, let's go.
Okay. That's the house, I'm sure.
Okay.
How do you do, ma'am? Is Florence in?
Yes. Is she in any trouble?
I just want to talk to her, that's all. Are you her mother?
Oh, no. I'm just a friend. Florence stays with me whenever she's in Los Angeles.
I see. Will you get her, please?
Would you like to come in and sit down?
No, thank you. We'll wait here. Check the back.
Yeah.
Hello, Florence.
I'd rather not embarrass my friends here. Can we go?
Certainly.
So that's how you found me. The cab driver.
You know why we brought you here, Miss Cook?
I have a pretty good idea. You heard I was near 12th and Main the night that fellow burned to death in the car. That's it, isn't it?
Exactly. What happened to that boy, Miss Cook?
I knew I should have told the police. But I couldn't. If I had, he'd kill me.
Who?
Ed Platt. He was insane with jealousy. He thought there was something between Paul Bright and me, but he was wrong.
Who is Ed Platt?
An old boyfriend of mine, a medical student. He's interning now, I think. We've dated on and off for a long time. I tried to break off with him, but he wouldn't let me.
All right, Miss Cook, you better tell us.
Well, I had a date with Paul Bright. We were going to Long Beach to see some friend of his, but decided at the last minute to go to a show. After the show, I was hungry, and we parked the car in the lot at 11th and Broadway and walked around to a cafe on Main Street to have something to eat. After we ate, we went back to the car and got in. Paul was lighting a cigarette for me. All of a sudden, Ed Platt, he must have been following us, yanked open the door of the car, pulled the Bright boy out, and started fighting with him. I got frightened and ran down the alley and knocked on the door of a building, but the janitor wouldn't let me in. I ran back to the street and ran down Main Street. Later, that cab driver picked me up and drove me home.
Do you know what hospital Ed Platt's interning at?
No, but he lives at 264 South Maple.
I'd like to have you wait here a little while. I'll have a policewoman stay with you, Miss Cook. Let's go out and pick him up.
Ed Platt?
Yes?
You're under arrest.
suspicion of murder. What is this, some kind of a joke?
It's no joke.
I never heard of Paul Bright.
Get your coat. We're taking you in.
Look, honestly, you're mistaken.
Where's your car?
Parked in the driveway.
Come on, I want to take a look at it.
I'll get my coat.
Is that where you carried the gasoline?
Celine, the ring came from a can of water.
Well, come on, we better go down to the station.
I'm telling you, you're making a mistake.
Maybe a friend of yours will help you change your mind. Sit down.
I wish I knew what you guys were talking about. It's the craziest thing ever happened to me.
How well do you know Florence Cook?
Florence Cook? Well, we went together for nearly 2 years, but why?
You were with her a few nights ago, weren't you?
No, sir, I wasn't. Look, I ran into Florence and some guy she was with at a cafe we used to go to over on Main Street. I just nodded to her. Look, I haven't seen her for months.
Why would Florence Cook want to involve you in trouble like this?
I don't know. Look, why don't you bring Florence down here? She'll tell you, I barely nodded to her. Look, they were just sitting down when I was leaving the cafe.
We'll bring her down. Miss Riley, bring Florence Cook in, please.
Yes, sir. There's some newspaper men here.
Send them in.
Would you like to sit down?
No, thank you.
Are you positive this is the man that opened the car door and dragged Paul Bright out?
Of course. We went together for over 2 years. How could I be mistaken?
Florence, what are you trying to do to me? Look, why don't you tell these guys the truth?
I'm not going to lie, Ed. I'm going to do my duty.
What are you doing here so late? I thought with the Bright case all washed up, you'd be home digging into a steak by now.
That's what's bothering me. I'm afraid we're celebrating a little too soon.
What do you mean?
I mean, we may be just starting this case, not ending it. I have a feeling we've got an innocent man in jail.
But the time element. Plant admitted being near the scene of the crime. And the gasoline can imprint in the back of the car, they all fit.
Oh, I neglected to tell you. I got a report from the lab. The ring in the back of Platt's car was made by water. And I checked out his alibi. There are 3 witnesses that say he was nowhere near the scene of the crime.
So we go back to work. What next?
Well, have some 8 by 10 photos made of these pictures taken to Florence Cook this afternoon.
If Ed Platt is innocent, why would she deliberately accuse him?
There's only one answer to that. She's protecting somebody. Another thing, it's 1,000 to 1 bet that anyone would be carrying gasoline in the car. And it isn't likely our killer would accidentally happen upon any.
Well, what can I do for you fellas?
Ballinger, have you ever seen this woman before?
That looks like Mike Duran's girl.
What do you mean, Duran's girl?
Oh, she and him, that is... Well, I could be mistaken, though. Come to think of it, this looks like the dame that came to my doorway that night. Why she come to my door, though, I can't figure out, unless she was looking for Mike. I've seen her leave the cafe with him a couple of times. Pretty sure it's her.
By the way, Ballinger, do you keep gasoline around the buildings anyplace?
Oh, no, sir. We don't use anything inflammable to clean with around here.
How long has Duran owned the cafe?
2 or 3 years that I know of.
Thanks, Ballinger.
Anytime, officer. Anytime.
You remember me? I'm Officer McClellan.
Yeah, sure.
You know a young lady, a Florence Cook?
Yes, I do.
We'd like to have you come downtown with us, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
You mind if we have a look around the place?
Help yourself.
Good, thanks.
Tell me what you're looking for, maybe I can help you.
Frankly, a gasoline can. And here's our gasoline can.
So I got a can of gasoline. What does that prove?
You'd be surprised what our lab men can prove. Sit down, Miss Cook. That was quite a tale you told us. I want to compliment you, Miss Cook, because pretty near all of it could be verified. Except for one mistake, a big one. You spell wrong, Florence. You're a very bad speller. Someone opened the car door that night. But his name wasn't spelled Ed Platt, it was spelled Mike Duran.
You're right. All Ed Platt did was to say hello to me in the restaurant. He wasn't even there when it happened. Paul Bright and I had been out, and I brought him over to the cafe to burn Mike up. He came over and asked me to stay, but I thought I'd teach him a lesson by showing him that he wasn't the only fish in the sea. I went into the place that night, and he was there with some other girl. We left, and Mike followed us into the parking lot. Mike started a fight with Paul. Paul picked up a piece of iron lying in the parking lot and swung at Mike. Mike wrestled it away from him and started to beat him on the head. I ran. I was frightened. I didn't know Paul was dead until the next day when I read it in the paper.
She's lying. I don't know anything about that killing. I never left the cafe all night.
Sure, but just to be certain, I've got a warrant to have your house searched. We'll see what we turn up. In the meanwhile, you'll be my guest.
Come on.
Have you ever heard of perjury?
Got a cigarette?
A thorough search of Mike Duran's house produced clothes and shoes with suspicious-looking stains on them. Stains that expert laboratory technicians identified as the same type blood as that of the victim, Paul Bright. So perfect was the laboratory chemical analysis that the police were able to prove that the fire in Paul Bright's car was started with gasoline that came from the can in Mike Duran's cafe. Duran is being held on second-degree murder charges pending trial. Next week, we'll bring you another dramatic and actual crime report from the files of Official Detective Magazine.